So I just wanted to do a quick little video for entertainment purposes only. Anybody that decides to try something like this is doing so at their own risk. I've been doing some shoemaking and leather work for a while now as a hobby, and for my own needs and family needs. But one of the things that's kind of wears on your wrist after a time is doing the skiving of the leather. So for those who don't know, anytime you're going to put two pieces of leather together in order to make a seam, you don't want to have a big bulky chunk of leather there where they're joined. So what you'll do is you'll thin the leather right along the edge, and then you can stitch it together, and in the end you've got basically the same thickness over your seam as you do on the main body of the leather. But as I said, skiving by hand, especially if you start to get into more intricate designs with a lot of parts and a lot of seams, it can definitely start to create a little bit of carpal tunnel and some stress and so on for the wrist. So I had been looking at the possibility of buying a Bell Skiving knife machine, it's called. So this skiving knife is just an example. They're used for thinning that edge. As you can see, they're quite complicated. It's a machine that sells for roughly $900 to $1,000, unless you get a really good deal on one, and then you might pay $750. But being that this is a hobby, plus I like a good challenge, so I can waste some time trying to figure things out, I thought, well, let me see if there's a possibility of me making this myself. So that's what this video is really about, because I was finally able to successfully finish my little project, and now I have a working, though ugly, a working Bell Skiving knife machine that was homemade. And obviously it did take some time, and it took a little bit of skill in various respects, but most of what I have done I learned from YouTube videos and so on. So making the pulleys, using the math that was necessary on different websites that help you to calculate the speed and so on, all of that took some time and some research, but I hadn't found any videos of how should we say, motivated individuals who have made one of these themselves, probably because it isn't exactly the safest thing in the world, and it is a bit labor intensive. These are typically a tool that only a professional shoemaker or leather worker would have in their possession. So of course they're going to want one that has all of the bells and whistles, has completely adjustable in 15 different ways, and is completely dependable. I just needed it for small stuff, and it's also to just kind of see what it would take to make one. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you. So this is my little monster Bell Skiving knife machine. Obviously homemade. But I am so excited about how it is working. It is cobbled together with a whole bunch of different pieces of junk. This piece is the suspension shaft out of a strut from a Toyota. Very nice steel for that. Made some pulleys so that I could have multiple speeds if I needed to. Down there I've got my $20 1 horsepower, probably a Harbor Freight induction motor, and some pieces and parts from this thing and that thing. This is, I purchased on a website, eBay or something like that. It is actually designed for the professional made tool, and this is the Bell knife itself. Let's see if I can show you what it looks like inside of this. Let's put this on. This block here is actually wood with a couple of carriage bolts run through it. And that is, once it got balanced out, it works quite well. The feeding stone, as it's called, is run on a shaft of scrap steel that I have with a couple of vacuum belts, vacuum motor belts, and these bearings are on a shaft that runs through here that's adjustable up and down with this screw, or with, you know, screw on each side. Then just to make sure that it's as Sanford & Sons as possible, the feeding stone, this part here, is being driven by an old grinder head. Basically, I wanted the gearing in there because it actually reduces the speed as well as turns at 90 degrees. And I just figured I'd just reuse the bearing at the end here. I put on just a simple round block pulley, essentially. It's got plenty of grip, and that grabs onto the shaft up above, so that is going nice and slow. And the deal is that, and then I just made up a piece here. This holds it down to the stone and in front of the blade, right there. So here's how the concept is. So I'm going to just give you a quick demonstration of how this thing works. So this is the scrap piece of leather I'm going to just show you with. And I got a little simple switch. Basically what I try to do is I have this hold down is a little high at the beginning, so I can get it here, and then the blade is going to start to slice on it, and the stone is feeding it in. And what I just try to do is I shoot for my center mark if I want to have that 3/8 of an inch of skive. So I'll just show you real quick here. But it's definitely a whole lot easier on the wrist than hand skiving with a blade. Skiving, of course, is the thinning of the edge. That's the result. The purpose is to thin the edges here, and you can do anywhere from, this is about 3/8 of an inch of skiving to, I can do 3/4 of an inch of skive if I want to double over the leather to make a nice finished edge. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. So I think all in all, I paid about $7 for the feeding stone. I paid 20 bucks for the Bell knife, and I bought the motor for 20 bucks used. And almost everything else, I mean, I got some nuts and bolts and things like that, but almost everything else is just some scrap. I welded up a frame for it so I could just quickly bolt it down to my workbench. But obviously, takes a little practice, and it is not OSHA approved, so use at your own risk.